This is one instance where we can't count on the police to police themselves. While the city has undertaken some preliminary steps, our findings today reveal very significant and severe violations of federal law and the Constitution.
Breaking news on this Thursday at noon. Whitney Clark in for Nicole Kreitz today. The Department of Justice is just now releasing the findings of its years-long investigation into the Phoenix Police Department. It found Phoenix police used excessive force and violated people's constitutional rights. The department even calling some of these findings historic. City officials are now saying they will take the necessary time they need to review the report before officially responding. More on that response in just a moment. But first, there is really just so much to unpack here. Our David Caltabiano is standing by live outside the Phoenix Police Department headquarters with a breakdown of the DOJ's findings. Hey, David.
Whitney, good evening. Yes, these are just jaw-dropping investigative findings from the DOJ. The Assistant Attorney General, Kristen Clark, saying very seriously that there is long-standing dysfunction at the Phoenix Police Department and that the department has a pattern of violating constitutional rights. There were 5 serious areas of concerns with this investigation. Now, in this report, Clark says that Phoenix police used excessive force, including unjustified deadly force, and that police in the city unlawfully detained, cited, and arrested people experiencing homelessness. Phoenix police, they say, discriminates against Black, Hispanic, and Native American people when enforcing the law. Police violates the rights of protesters practicing free speech. That is something that they're claiming as well. They also said that police and the city discriminate against people with behavioral health and disabilities when they're dispatching calls. Now, this wasn't just a series of cases that the Department of Justice looked into, but this was years of work. Take a listen.
So we requested data from the city for a period that extends from 2016 through 2022. We also looked at data and information for the period of 2023 and 2024 as well. That included extensive interviews, review of documents, participating in ride-alongs, review of body-worn camera footage, and much, much more. Phoenix is the 5th largest city in our nation. This was a comprehensive investigation.
And there were some other jaw-dropping statistics that were a part of that report as well. In it, Clark says that 37% of all citations, all misdemeanors from Phoenix police officers came from the homeless population. And we have done so much reporting on this place called The Zone. It used to be called The Zone, that very large homeless encampment. So much that investigative findings have to do with that. And when you spoke about history, Whitney, Clark says that this may be the first time that so many people, homeless people, had their civil rights violated by a police department. Again, these are just allegations found in these investigative findings. Our chief investigative reporter, Morgan Lowe, right now is sitting down with the chief of police, Michael Sullivan, about this new report that was just released. We will have that interview later on here on Arizona's Family. But for now, Whitney, we'll send it back to you as we wait and see what kind of implications, what kind of federal oversight could come from all of these findings, Whitney.
Yeah, it was just about 10 a.m. They had the press conference. They released the findings. So behind the scenes, a lot of work going on here at Arizona's Family to make sure we make it as clear as possible what exactly is happening. David, thank you so much. As David mentioned, there were some numbers thrown out in this report. Here's a look at some of the other findings. The DOJ says Black drivers are 144% more likely to be cited or arrested for low-level moving violations. Hispanic drivers, 40% more likely to be cited or arrested for those same low-level moving violations. And also, as David mentioned, homeless residents make up more than 37% of all arrests in Phoenix, and less than 1% of the people who live here are homeless. Again, that is all according to the DOJ report. Meantime, Mayor Kate Gallego releasing a statement saying the city council is going to meet later this month to get legal advice, understand the report, and really talk about the next steps. She says she's going to review the report's findings before commenting any further. And just within the last few minutes, the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association held a press conference in response to the findings. Our Sarah Robinson is joining us from there now. Sarah, thanks so much for being here. What exactly did they say?
Well, Whitney, we just got out of that press conference about 10 minutes ago, and we can tell that everybody in that room on the Phoenix Law Association side was visibly upset. Now, we did hear from Daryl Kriplian, who is the president of the Phoenix Law Association, and again, that association is the police union here. Now, he said, quote, that they were frustrated and appalled by the findings, and they said that the main reason they were so upset is because that the DOJ kept this secret from them and chose to release it at the same time that media and the public found out about it today. Now, they said that that secrecy proves this entire report is a farce. Now, they said today that they would not be interested in going into a consent decree, which is a legally binding performance improvement plan that does not admit guilt or liability. Here's more of what they had to say.
We are frustrated and appalled by the Department of Justice's decision to release the findings report to the public and the media before allowing the decision makers and the department to review it. This tactic is nothing more than an irresponsible and unprofessional smear campaign against the men and women who have continued to courageously serve the community amidst dangerous inflammatory rhetoric by political activists and violent attacks from criminals.
Now, Kriplian also said that this DOJ investigation implies that the DOJ is only interested in federal control of local departments, and said that they are not interested in receiving that federal control. They also said that they offered to have a shared document with the DOJ to report findings and have accountability, and that was rejected, which they also said is why they were so upset by this report today. They also said that they were not interested, again, in entering that consent decree because they cited other jurisdictions across the country, like Baltimore, who have police departments entered into that sort of agreement, are suffocating and losing funding, and also said that violence is increasing in those cities. So we'll have to hear more from community members in the community today about what they think about these findings. So we'll have more on that. But for now, reporting live in Phoenix, I'm Sarah Robinson for Arizona's Family.
Sarah, thank you. We know the term consent decree is something we're going to be hearing a lot about, talking a lot about in the coming days. Now, as to what's next in terms of what the DOJ says its plan is, the DOJ says it will continue to work with city officials. It's hoping to agree on a set of reforms with those city officials. Again, all of this is ongoing. It's a very fluid situation, but the entire report from the DOJ, all of the responses from other city officials, those are up right now on our website. You can read it for yourself. You can also find it in our free AZ Family mobile app. You probably have your phone in your hand right now. We have all of the links up there so you can get all that information yourself, and we'll have more on this in just about 30 minutes.